welcome back to the Love Letters from Lincoln podcast. Guess who is finally not congested today? You guessed it, me. Let's all just give thanks to the good Lord because I have been congested every single day of 2025 so far. And we have finally made it to the other side. I do have to blow my nose occasionally, but I feel like as much as the average person does. Does the average person even blow their nose daily? Can you guys actually let me know how often you blow your nose? Because I'm really curious. Because I blow my nose, even when I'm not sick or anything, I blow my nose a couple times a day, I feel like. Is that normal? Or do people go days without having to use a tissue? I'm actually really curious. Okay. Before we get into today's episode, I just want to briefly send my love, my thoughts, my prayers for those who are suffering from the California wildfires. Now, I don't know if any of my audience that listens, if it impacts them directly. However, I do have a couple close friends in LA right now, and they have safely evacuated, thank the Lord, but unfortunately that's not possible for a lot of people still, and there are so many people who have lost their homes and just everything that they've built from the ground up. So I encourage you guys to send love and prayers and to help in any way that you can. In my Instagram bio, there is a organization that all the funds go towards disaster relief for what's happening in Los Angeles right now. But I did just want to mention that because it's important to me, and I know it's important to a lot of you that we talk about it and we don't just ignore the horrible things that are happening in the world. So if you are financially able to, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you go donate whatever amount or donate anything that you can. All right. In today's episode, we are going to be going over some of my most anticipated reads of 2025. Now, what this means is we're going to go through a selection of books. I think I have 9 that I wrote down that I have been waiting for the release of. And finally, it's here in 2025. There are so many books being released this year that I'm so excited for. A lot of them are a part of series that I have been reading over the past couple years. And I'm just so excited because the series just keep growing and growing. But before we get into that, we, of course, have to do life updates and my weekly report. So, life updates, I'm back to work. I was telling you guys last week how miserable I was that we weren't, I wasn't. Wait, did I go back to work last week? Oh my god, I did. Why did I write that down as a... Okay, I guess last week when I recorded while I was still on break. So technically I hadn't been back to work yet. Of course, as soon as I say I'm not congested, I have to sniffle. Are you kidding me? What is happening? It's like a curse. Every time I turn on the camera, my nose is like, time to run. Anyways, let's also just say a quick prayer that my microphone doesn't stop recording today or that nothing goes wrong because that's really been a trend lately. Anyways, back to work, trying to get back into my routine. However, my routine is looking a little bit different this year. I am currently nannying, or I guess you could say babysitting, my 2 nephews, every day of the week. Well, every weekday. In between my normal work shifts. Now, fortunately, it's not the entire time between shifts. I do get a little bit of a reprieve from, is that the right word? Yeah, a reprieve from my work schedule. I work in the mornings from 6:20 to 8:20, and then I go to watch my nephews from 9 to noon. And truthfully, it's really not horrible because I love and adore them more than anything else in the world. Those are my literal blood relatives, and I love them so much, and they're hilarious, and it's so crazy watching them grow up. But it is a lot of work, and while my depressive episode is over, which this is another life update, while my depressive episode is over, I fear that in order to combat that coming back again, I sort of overbooked myself a little bit, and I really am working a lot recently, but I'm also like, is it really that bad? Because I need this money right now. You guys know, like, my goals are to move to a bigger city one day, and like what I'm saving right now, I'm literally saving for that move currently in this period of my life. I am taking a couple years to just like make a shit ton of money so that I can go to the cities that are calling me, if that makes sense, and to travel more. So in a sense, it's like, okay, this is logical. This makes sense that I'm working 2 full-time jobs on weekdays. And I really am grateful that I have jobs that allow me to have my weekends free, because not everyone gets that. And we as teachers are so fortunate that we get that weekend time off, because it is much needed, let me tell you. So I am fortunate that I do get 2 full days of the week off, which not a lot of people get. So you know what? I don't think I'm really overworking myself that much. I think that I was finding myself really bored in between my normal shifts anyways, because it's like, I get off work at 8:20 in the morning and I don't go back till 3:30, and that's a huge gap. That's like some people's work days. So I was getting a little bit bored. I needed something to fill the time. Why not do it watching my 2 favorite boys in the world and getting paid for it, you know? So I am trying to think positively about it, as you can tell, just because, let's be real, guys, I was not put on this earth to have a job. I, like, and I love my job, don't get me wrong. I love my job so much, guys, in the office. Ladies in the office, I know you're listening to this. I love my job. Don't get me wrong, okay? But if I had the choice to not work, I wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't. If I had the choice not to work, if I had the funds to not work, I probably wouldn't. And if I did, it would probably be passion projects like this podcast and other entrepreneurial things. And that's honestly kind of the goal whenever I think about it. Like, that is my dream life, is to be able to work for myself and create my passions, or make my passions into something that can sustain my lifestyle, if that makes sense. Anyways, I'm kind of veering off the path here. What was I saying before that? Oh, okay. I think to combat my depressive episodes making a comeback, I overbooked myself a little bit, and that's okay, because honestly, I think this will be really good for me. Something to do, but I still get downtime in the day. I get a few hours before I go back to work, and then when I get off work in the evening at 6:30, I get the rest of that night to myself. So it's not bad, guys. It's a positive, and I'm making money while doing it, and I'm just, honestly, like, I'm just very, very excited for this year. Like I mentioned in last week's episode, I'm feeling very good about this year. What am I saying? Life update number 3, which I don't have many this week, but life update number 3, we're getting back into journaling, okay? And this was one of my New Year's resolutions. I really want to be more grounded, and I feel like journaling helps me do that. So I kind of wanted to share with you guys the prompts that I've been doing daily. So the first one is, and my goal is to kind of, you'll notice the format of this is kind of for this to be like a weekly sit down. Okay, this is like what I'm planning for the week. So the first one is, what are your glimmers this week? And the word glimmer is actually something I got from an old high school teacher, and she used to make these Instagram posts, which I followed her after I graduated high school, of course, but she would make these Instagram posts, and it would be like, these are my glimmers of the week, and it's just like little pieces of light from her week and the positives in her week, essentially. So what are your glimmers this week? I wrote down Georgia coming home from Japan, and she's bringing me so many sunny angels home from Japan. So that is a glimmer. I'm, of course, so excited to see her. I miss her so much. I've been watching her cats lately. They are doing good, and they actually, when this episode comes out, they will be home, I believe. Yeah, because tomorrow's the 14th. And it's crazy because she was explaining to me the time difference. They're leaving Japan the morning of the 14th, but they're getting back to the United States at 5 p.m. still on January 14th. You know what I mean? Because it's like the time zones. Okay, time zones are so weird. I don't know. Anyways, okay. What are you making a habit out of this week? I wrote journaling. Obviously, I wrote picking out work outfits the night before. This is a big thing because I feel like in the morning, you guys, I work so early and I have to get up so early. And especially now that I know I'll be going straight to watching my nephews after my morning shift, I want to be more intentional with the outfits I pick out in the morning. I want to be more intentional with, okay, this feels good right now. Am I going to feel good in it later when I'm watching the kids? Am I going to want to be warmer? Am I going to want to be cooler? Am I going to hate my hair later whenever I'm watching the kids? You know what I mean? Just like little things, but I like to look good. It makes me feel good. So I really do want to spend like more time the night before preparing for the next day. And same thing as packing lunches, which honestly, I have just been eating lunch when I get home from watching the kids, but I have been packing like snack bags because I know I get hungry, especially when I'm bored. And sometimes I get a little bored, while watching them. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. It's fine. Okay. How are you going to stay grounded this week? Journaling, obviously. Taking time for myself when I can, and that includes like the hours before I go back to work and then the hours when I get home from work. Reading, talking to friends, especially high on talking to friends. I mean, I'm constantly texting, like my inner circle, and texting people like Sydney, Georgia, Juliana, Brittany, texting them, Jordan, texting all of them on the daily really helps me like stay grounded, and it helps me get that social aspect without actually having to be with people when I kind of just want to be with myself at the end of a long work day. So that is what I'm trying to journal every week now. Okay, that was all my life updates. Let's get into the weekly report. Releasing. Today we're going to be talking about a bunch of book releases, so I'm skipping this one. Experiencing, getting back into the flow of a routine. You guys know this. Feeling really hopeful and confident and excited about this upcoming year. I honestly have just been having like so many revelations and like epiphanies within my own daily life and my own self, and I just already have a really good feeling about this year. And I just know, when you just know something good is about to happen, like that's kind of how I've been feeling lately, and it's making me emotional now because when you think of even like a couple weeks ago when I was not feeling that way and I was very depressed, it's when your mind is kind of in a depressive episode, it's really easy for the good things to be dimmed and for the light to be dimmed, and it's hard for you to think positively. It's hard for you to think that something good is coming in the near future. But I just have a really good feeling about this year. Like, I can feel it in my bones that I'm going to just have this, like, breakthrough and something's going to happen. I don't know what, and I don't know, like, what placed that inside of me. Maybe it was the Lord. Maybe I'm just excited about this year, but I don't know, you guys. I think that something drastic is about to change in my life. Imagine that's not true. Imagine I just said all of that and like the end of this year I'm like, well, guys, I'm in the same position. No, that's not gonna happen. That's literally not gonna happen, but that would be funny. Okay. Playing and watching. I've been watching the OC, guys. I don't know how I've never watched this show. It is, first of all, it's so funny, but it's also real and raw and emotional. And Seth Cohen is so witty and hilarious. I love him in Summer. Please watch this show if you have not already. I have not really been playing anything, honestly. I feel like I've been so busy getting back into the workflow that that's just not a possibility right now. Obsessing over Seth Cohen, obviously. In my current read, guys, I am rereading A Court of Mist and Fury. I don't know what, like, transpired this. I was literally, like, because I'm also currently reading, Beartown with the book club right now, which it's kind of a slow start, but I'll get through it. Which I've heard so many good things about the book. I'm like really trying to see it through. Funny too is that it was my book club pick and it got picked, and now I'm like I'm kind of bored. But on Friday night, I think we had a snow day on Friday, and I was like, you know what, this beautiful snow is just really making me want to read about Valaris right now. And so I hopped right back into A Court of Mist and Fury because I've already read A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is the first book in that series. I've already read that book like 3 times over the past few years. So A Court of Mist and Fury, this is my first reread, I think. First reread for this book. And it's so crazy, like, reading this after reading Throne of Glass. You know what I mean? It's crazy because I'm like, there are so many callbacks to Throne of Glass. There's just so many things that I never noticed before, and it's so fun. I'm on chapter 48. They're in the inn with the one bedroom, so I'm super excited to read that chapter, probably after I finish recording this. I've also, you guys, been listening to this as an audiobook, because I have the audiobook already, while coloring in my coloring book, with Valaris and like night court ambiance playing on my TV, and it has been the most delightful thing I've ever done. That's been my nightly routine lately, is turning on my audiobook, night court ambiance, Valaris ambiance, you know what I mean, spring court ambiance. I've kind of been like matching the settings and where they're going in this book, and coloring in my coloring book, and it's been the greatest thing. Oh, and a candle going, obviously. It's just been so delightful, and I'm loving it so much. So highly recommend. Treating, I unfortunately treated myself too hard to the point where I have like $13 in my checking account right now, which is fine. Like, I'm fine money wise. Like, I'm not fortunately I am financially stable currently. You're probably listening to this and like, what do you mean you have $13 in your checking account? Trust me, I'm good. I don't really need to spend any money this week. I'll get paid on Friday by my brother, and then I'll get gas. But like, I accidentally treated myself too hard to the point where I broke my bank. So that's where we're at right now, but it's okay. I did Taylor Swift, her merch website restocked these limited edition Live from Paris Lover vinyls. And if you guys know me, I love Lover, one of my favorite Taylor Swift albums. And back when it was released, she did these shows in Paris, and the versions of the songs she did are my absolute favorite live recordings that she's ever done. And so Taylor Nation just posted while supplies supplies limited, Lover, what am I saying? Why am I all of a sudden stuttering? Live from Paris, limited edition, Lover vinyl, and they're heart-shaped. And one of them is pink and one of them is blue. And I got on that so fast, let me tell you. What's crazy is that it's not just Ticketmaster anymore, y'all. I was in a queue to buy this vinyl on Taylor Swift's website. There was a queue. I remember adding it to my cart and trying to go to checkout, and Taylor Nation's website was like, oh, 11 minutes till you can check out. And I'm like, what's going on? And it's just like Ticketmaster. While you're in line to check out, your tickets aren't, or your merch isn't saved. It could sell out by the time you finally get into checkout. So I'm sitting here sweating. I'm like, okay, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Got the records. They actually shipped so fast. It said they were supposed to ship on January 20th, but they shipped literally a few days ago, and they're going to be here probably today or tomorrow. So, hey, super excited for that. Actually, let's track my package right now. I'm so tired, y'all. Whew, I don't know how I'm going to do these work days. On the way. Not yet out for delivery. It was in a town really close to me this morning at 5:15 a.m. So, we'll see. I'm so excited. I'm also just so freaking excited for Georgia to come back with my Sunny Angels. Let's be real. I'm really, really excited about... Oh my god, guys. Tim McGraw is performing at Thunder Ridge Nature Arena on Labor Day weekend this year. That could be fun. Anyways. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, that's it for my weekly recap. Let's report. Let's get into these anticipated reads. I'm so excited. And, I would be lying to you if I didn't say that Onyx Storm was my number one most anticipated release. Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. This is book number 3 in the Empyrean series. This book comes out in literally a week. It comes out January 21st. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this. By the way, this episode will be spoiler free. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys whenever I mention some of these books that are a part of a series. But Fourth Wing series by Rebecca Yarros. This book went crazy viral about 2 years ago when it was first published. And I remember it's always so hard reading the first book in a series when it's not a completed series, because you're like, it's kind of like a gamble. You're like, okay, do I want to read this now or do I want to wait till the whole series is out? But when you think about the timeline, like the span, like I can't imagine reading the ACOTAR series or the Throne of Glass series years and years ago when they were first coming out and having to wait for the next book. Like, I'm so lucky that I found them, which ACOTAR isn't a completed series yet. She's like, I'm pretty sure she's contracted for like 3 more books, but you know what I mean. It had somewhat of closure at the end of A Court of Silver Flames. But okay, I need to stop getting off track. Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. Sorry, I already forgot my other thought. So if you were waiting for me to finish that thought, I already forgot it. By the way, wow, I need to get medicated for my ADHD. Like, this is so bad. No, what's funny is that I actually already am medicated. I just don't take the medication. Anyways, I always forget about my on-air neon sign in the background right now. If you're watching on YouTube, I always forget about it. I just put it up today because I remembered. Don't expect it every week. That's all I can tell you. Okay. Number 3 in the Empyrean series. I need to do a quick reread of Iron Flame so bad because I like barely remember the contents of that book. I remember like a couple key points and I remember the ending, but I need to go back and do a reread. I am lucky because I have this as an audiobook, so I'm just going to listen to it because, to be quite frank with you, Iron Flame, in my opinion, was way longer than it needed to be. And so much could have been resolved if they just communicated with each other. That's not a spoiler, by the way. I feel like it's just common knowledge that Xaden and Violet just can't communicate with each other. Anyways, number 2. I don't really have much else to say about that, to be real with you. Well, I did find out the other day that I had like $15 on Barnes & Noble rewards, so I pre-ordered the deluxe special edition of Onyx Storm, and I will not be reading it the day it comes out because, well, first of all, I have work and I have like other priorities, unfortunately. Secondly, that copy probably won't be delivered for a week. Okay, number 2, this is a freaking big one. Oh my god, you guys. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This will be, what is this? The 5th book in the Hunger Games franchise, I want to say. Yeah, because we have the Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Sunrise on the Reaping. So, Sunrise on the Reaping, it's officially confirmed that it will be Haymitch's games. I still don't know if we have confirmed that it's from his point of view or not. I'm assuming it's going to be, obviously, but I'm so beyond excited for this book. I have been obsessed with the Hunger Games franchise since I was a kid, which is crazy. Like, can you guys believe that I was reading these books at like 11? It's probably the way I am now, or why I am the way I am now. Hi, Toby. You come to join us? Hi. Toby wants to say hi. Do you have something to say? Okay, he's rubbing against the microphone. Oh. I feel bad because, like, while I need the money, I haven't really been home that much to be with him. My baby. He's so cute, guys. He's my little lion cub. Hi, honey. You want to sit? You want to sit in my lap? Okay, Sunrise on the Reaping. Super excited for that. And, like, the movie comes out in 2026, which... insane. Okay, so Sunrise on the Reaping comes out on March 18th of this year. Next up, we have Fearless by Lauren Roberts, the 3rd book in the Powerless trilogy. You guys know, or you may not know, Lauren Roberts has been under fire a little bit for just her, like, taking ideas from people, plagiarism, blah, 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 blah. Frankly, I enjoyed her books, and I will be reading the 3rd one because I want to know what happens. I did not enjoy Reckless, which was the 2nd book, but I fear it was just suffering from 2nd book syndrome, which is a stigma, basically, that 2nd books in the series are bad. Except Court of Mist and Fury from ACOTAR, that was a big FU to that theory. Anyways, Fearless by Lauren Roberts, that comes out April 8th. I am excited to see how it ends. And to just be done with it and move on, to be honest with you. Number 4, we have Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. April 22nd is when that comes out. I love Emily Henry. You guys know this. I think I took a screenshot of the synopsis for this because I wanted to read it to you guys. Let me find my screenshots. Oh my gosh, did my microphone just stop? No, it didn't. Woo! Okay. La, 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 la. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Okay. I plan on reading this whole synopsis to you. 2 writers compete for the chance to tell the larger-than-life story of a woman with more than a couple of plot twists up her sleeve in this dazzling and sweeping new novel from Emily Henry. Alice Scott is an eternal optimist, still dreaming of her big writing break. Hayden Anderson is a Pulitzer Prize, is that how you say that? Pulitzer Prize winning human thundercloud. And they're both on balmy little Crestman. Can you believe I have a podcast when I stutter this much? And they're both on balmy little Crescent Island for the same reason. To write the biography of a woman no one has seen in years. Or at least to meet with the... Girl, what? The octogenarian? What does that mean? Octogenarian. We're going to look that up. Octogenarian meaning. Oh, a person who is between 80 and 89 years old. Couldn't we have just said, like, to meet with the elder? The fuck? Or at least to meet with the elder who claims to be Margaret Ives. Tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. When Margaret invites them both for a 1-month trial period, after which she'll choose the person who will tell her story, there are 3 things keeping Alice's head in the game. 1, Alice genuinely likes people, which means people usually like Alice, and she has a whole month to win the legendary woman over. 2, she's ready for this job and the chance to impress her unimpressed family with a serious publication. 3, Hayden Anderson, who should have no reason to be concerned about losing this book, is glowering at her shaken to the core way. Where did I leave off? Core way that suggests he sees her as competition. But the problem is, Margaret is only giving each of them pieces of her story. Pieces they can't swap to put together because of an ironclad NDA and an inconvenient yearning pulsing between them every time they're in the same room. And it's become abundantly clear that their story, just like the tale Margaret's spinning, could be a mystery, tragedy, or love ballad, depending on who's telling it. Oh my god, that sounds so good. I've read that before, but like, it just sounds so good every time I read it. It sounds so different from what she's done in the past, so that's why I'm super excited about it. I also read A Study in Drowning last year, which was also 2 rivals competing to write someone's story, so I love that, like, academic rivalry vibe. So excited for that one. April 22nd. Okay, Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I read, what was that book called? What did it happen? Wait. Oh, I read Just for the Summer by her last year, and you guys know that it was a 5-star read. I loved that book so much. So I'm really excited to see. I'm new to Abby Jimenez, so I'm excited to see what this book is all about. This is the synopsis for this one. From #1 New York Times bestselling author of Just for the Summer comes a new playful yet deeply emotional contemporary romance. There might be no such thing as a perfect guy, but Xavier Rush comes disastrously close. A gorgeous veterinarian giving Greek god vibes, all while cuddling a tiny kitten. Immediately yes. That is until Xavier opens his mouth and proves that even sculpted gods can say the absolute wrong thing. Like, really wrong. Of course, there's nothing Samantha loves more than proving an asshole wrong. Unless, of course, he can admit he made a mistake. But after one incredible and seemingly endless date, possibly the best in living history, Samantha is forced to admit the truth, that her family is in crisis and any kind of relationship would be impossible. Samantha begs Xavier to forget her, to remember their night together as a perfect moment, as crushing as that may be. Only no amount of distance or time is nearly enough to forget that something is between them. And the only thing better than one single perfect memory is to make a life and even a love worth remembering. Stop, that sounds so sweet. I fear that might make me cry a lot. Okay, #6, Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. Don't know how to say her name. She wrote Heartless Hunter, and this is going to be #2 in that series. I don't know if it's going to be a series or a duology, but it's The Crimson Moth is what the books are called. So The Crimson Moth, Heartless Hunter, The Crimson Moth, Rebel Witch. This comes out February 18th. I can't say I'm like super excited about this one. Like, I am curious to see where the story goes. However, the first one didn't really grip me that hard. I wasn't as obsessed with it as a lot of people were. I think I rated it like a 3-star. It did leave on a cliffhanger though, so I think I will read the second one. However, I'm very nervous that this will be the same situation as it was for Divine Rivals. I loved Divine Rivals so much, and then Ruthless Vows just fell so short for me. I DNF'd it about halfway through. I could not get through it. I was so bored. So I'm really hoping this isn't the same case. Number 7, Wild Side by Elsie Silver. This is Rosehill series number 3. I think it is, what's her face? Reese and, is her name Sloane story? No, it's not Sloane. Reese and Tabby? You know what? We're gonna look it up. Wild Side Elsie Silver. Why can I not type? Wild Side Elsie Silver. There's no synopsis. But anyways, I love the Rosehill series books. Wait, Rosehill. Sorry, I actually, if you know me in person, if you know me in real life, you know that I actually cannot speak while I'm on my phone. Like, it's a curse. Okay, Reese and, does it not say her name on here? Guys, I might have to leave you hanging. I'm sorry. Yeah, whatever. I actually don't care that much anymore. Anyways, excited for that one. That one comes out on March 4th. It's a cowboy romance, if you guys are interested in that. I believe it's also like forced or like arranged marriage or something for some reason. Okay, number 8, The Crash by Frieda Mcfadden. This comes out January 28th. I actually just discovered this book. I didn't realize it was coming out, but I just discovered or heard about this a couple weeks ago. So this is the synopsis for that one. The nightmare she's running from is nothing compared to where she's headed. Tegan is 8 months pregnant, alone, and desperately wants to put her crumbling life in the rearview mirror. So she hits the road, planning to stay with her brother until she can figure out her next move. But she doesn't realize she's heading straight to a blizzard. She never arrives at her destination. Stranded in rural Maine with a dead car and broken ankle, Tegan worries she's made a terrible mistake. Then a miracle, she is rescued by a couple. Okay, some of these synopsises have such bad typos in them. Then a miracle happens. I'm adding that in. Happens. And she is rescued by a couple who offers her a room in their warm cabin until the snow clears. But something isn't right. Tegan believes she was waiting out the storm, but as time ticks by, she comes to realize she is in grave danger. This safe haven isn't what she thought it was, and staying here may have been her most deadly mistake yet. And now she must do whatever it takes to save herself and her unborn child. A gut-wrenching story of motherhood, survival, and twisted expectations. Super excited for that because I love thrillers, especially, I really started getting into them last year, especially Frieda Mcfadden. And for some reason, the idea of her, going to stay with this old couple in the woods reminds me so much of that one horror movie with the grandma. What was that movie called? The Visitors? The Visitors. Is that what it was called? Okay, I'm looking it up. The Visitors. I really wish I had one of those people who could just look up things for me while I'm recording the pod, but I'm not popular enough for that. No, it's not The Visitor. Guys, what is that movie called? Okay, horror movie with old people. The Visit. Oh, I just got a chill looking at the movie poster. The Visit. Yeah, it reminds me. Yeah, they go to meet their grandparents for the first time, but it turns out they're actually not their grandparents at all. Oh my god, that movie was so kind of funny, but horrifying. Okay. Number 9, Cross My Heart by Megan Collins. This is also a thriller. It comes out January 14th. I actually just discovered this book on TikTok a couple days ago. I'm pretty sure I screenshotted the synopsis, maybe. I need to look it up. Cross My Heart, Megan Collins. And what got me, like, hooked is that whenever I saw it on TikTok, because that's how I discovered it, she used a Taylor Swift song, The Prophecy, and she was like, if you like this song or if you relate to this song, you'll love this book. And I was like, oh, immediately sold. So I'm curious to see why it relates to that and how. Okay. After receiving a life-saving heart transplant, Rosie knows her health is precious and precarious. She suspects her heart donor is Daphne Thorne, the wife of local celebrity author Morgan Thorne, who she begins messaging via an anonymous service called Donor Connect to learn more about Daphne. Why is that all that there is? Average rating from 704 members, 4-star. That's on NetGalley. Goodreads is also giving a 4-star right now. Oh, okay, so that synopsis was just like completely wrong. Okay, let's read Goodreads synopsis. I'm sorry, this episode is all over the place. Ooh, she has his dead wife's heart. The one she wants is his. The author of The Family Plot brings her signature prose to a twisty novel about a heart transplant patient who becomes romantically obsessed with her donor's husband. Rosie Lackland wants nothing more than to find the one. A year after she was dumped in her wedding dress, she's working at her parents' bridal salon, anxious for a happy ending that can't come soon enough. After receiving a life-saving heart transplant, Rosie knows her health is precious and precarious. She suspects her heart donor is Daphne Thorne, the wife of a local celebrity author, Megan Thorne, who she begins messaging via an anonymous service called Donor Connect to learn more about Daphne. Okay. I don't understand why they cut it off there, though, you know? But Rosie has a secret. She's convinced that now that she has his wife's heart, she and Morgan are meant to be together. As she and Morgan correspond, the pretense of avoiding personal details soon disappears, even if Rosie's keeping some cards close to her chest. But as she digs deeper into Morgan's previous marriage, she discovers disturbing rumors about the man she's falling for. Could Morgan have had something to do with his late wife's death? And can Rosie's heart sustain another break, or is she next? Like, that just sounds really interesting to me. And again, I'm curious about the prophecy and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that is all I had on my list. I don't know. Nothing else is really on my radar, unless I forgot a couple. But that is what we're doing. I also, before I end this episode, I want to mention that I saw the movie Nosferatu, which is like this horror vampire drama film starring Lily Rose Depp. It was disgusting, may I say. And here's the thing. I kind of get the plot. And if you've watched it, you understand. Like, I get it. I kind of get what the director or whoever wrote the story was trying to do. It was trying to get across. But it was disgusting. It was weird. It was very camp. And I fear that it's probably going to win a lot of awards because I feel like film critics just love the like weird, never done before things, which is valid, but I feel like that's only what wins ever. And it got so many good like critic reviews. It has like a really good score on Rotten Tomatoes. And I don't know, I was just shocked by it. And maybe it was meant to be a shock factor. Maybe it was meant to be camp. Maybe it was meant to be in your face weird. And if so, they accomplished that. You guys it's so weird. Like, if you get grossed out easily and if you hate horror, definitely don't watch it. But I'd say if you're curious, maybe give it a go. You'll have some laughs for sure. Brittany and I were sitting there watching it and we were just like jaw dropping every time something happened. Like, just literally every 5 minutes looking at each other, either laughing silently or just like sitting there baffled. And when I tell you, as soon as the end credits rolled, the entire theater that I was in burst out laughing. Brittany and I were laughing so hard that we were in tears. So, if that says anything, I don't know. Maybe give it a go. It's kind of funny. I need to go. It's 2:30 and I have to leave for work at 3. So, gonna get out of your hair. Thank you so much for listening. If you listened the whole way through, comment down below. Let me know how often you blow your nose every day. Please, I want to know. I need to know. And then also let me know what your most anticipated read of the year is. Again, thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. Big things are coming this year from me and everything else. This has been a love letter from Lincoln. Bye.